All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Star Wars CCG Holotheatre. This is the May 25th, 2022 episode, Season 3, Episode 20. I am your guest host, Jared Napolitano, also known as JNAP, the marketing advocate for the Players Committee. I'm filling in for Dan Tartaglione, our usual host, who is in the process of moving across the country from California to Pennsylvania. So we're going to be doing another episode similar to last week, where just be me kind of doing a tour around the game, big news, and relevant announcements I think many of our viewers are accustomed to hearing and seeing. And then we'll jump into a pre-recorded interview, really special one, really one that I enjoyed doing with Bjorn Palmquist from Sweden and Magnus Christensen from Norway. So we talked a little bit about their histories and Star Wars CCG in Scandinavia and some recent events that have been going on and some upcoming events as well. So I really enjoyed doing that, taping that on Monday. So that's about 30 minutes, and that'll be at the end of the episode, and then I'll sign off from there. So, so I have a agenda, a few items kind of want to go through. Let me fire this up. As always, please be patient. I am not nearly as technically or graphically savvy as Dan is. And we'll start with, right off the bat here, with a hiccup of sorts. Let's see if this works. Okay, bear with me 1 second. My Twitch, when I went live, just crashed, and then I started again. So this should just take a minute. Sometimes it used to do this a lot, but it hasn't done this recently. So one moment, and I'll just go through kind of various pages. Yeah, here we go. Okay, all right. Just hopefully just a minor hiccup here. And these are just kind of the things I want to tour through in our time here. Let's see. And this. Let's start over here. Okay. All right, so I'm covered up, but I could jump in. Okay, I'm back. All right, so first, let's do a quick update on the 2022 Retro event. This is Decipher Cards only format. This past weekend, one of the semifinal matchups, the one between Casey Annis, who was the 3 seed, against Steve Baroni, who was the 4 seed. They played game 1 last Friday. I streamed that. It's on the YouTube channel if you want to review. Game 2 was on Sunday. Steve emerged victorious for the match. He won game 1 by 21 with Lightside Senate versus Casey's Darkside Senate. And he played Hunt Down, Steve that is, against Casey's Combat and lost, but by less than 21. So he advances to the final. I announced in here, talking with Justin and Justin on behalf of Johnny and Steve. They are all on the same team, the KTOD, Kashyyyk Train of Dominance, or Domination probably, I think is the better one. Sorry, I always mix that up. So they're all on the same team. So fortunately, they are going to play out the other semifinal matchup between Justin and Johnny. That's going to take place this Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and Robbie is scheduled to cover that, subject to change. But that is the current plan, and they know each other's decks, so it shouldn't be a surprise. And then Steve is going to, for bookkeeping purposes, technically concede to whoever wins that between Johnny and Justin. I know a lot of times it's awkward when you're playing a teammate, especially when you know their decks. This event's a little different. It's not, high stakes. It's not like a world championship of $50 entry per person. It is a free event. But I am looking forward to them playing, giving people an entertaining match between, there's at least one deck type out of the 4 between them that we haven't seen yet. And hopefully some good content for years to come as people look back and say, hey, what happens in this format? What do the top players play? How does the game go? So that is going to be this weekend. And then I will plug as is their prerogative, the main grand prize was a Darkside Coruscant rare sheet. They are looking to move that in a transaction. They are going to donate 10% of the proceeds to the Father's Day fundraiser cause, which we'll jump into in a minute. But if you're interested in working with them, you can reach out to them directly if you know them and feel comfortable doing that. That's Justin Desai, Johnny Chu, and Steve Baroni. or you can send an email to marketing@starwarsccg.org. I know some people might be especially interested in that. To them, it's pretty cool. They like to have it, but they also know that maybe some other person might find it a little more valuable than they do. So that is the retro event for 2022. Let's jump in and do a quick OCS scoreboard update with our new leagues page, which was recently rolled out by the GEMP developer team. It's a little easier to navigate. We'll get there in a minute. But the May OCS, we have, what is it? 26, 7, 8, 9. About 6-7 days left in the month for the qualifier. We got Drew at the top here at 11-1. But the interesting thing with Drew as Coffee Pass, he is 33-3, and I think he clinched it actually, because I think the only person that could have possibly tied him mathematically was Ryan Serson, who I think has 2 losses. My teammate, hopefully no more than 2. He's at 3. He's at 4-3. So he's also very high in the at-large coming into this month. I know he had a little bit of a cushion, and I know Stubbley was doing pretty well. And there is I'll get there in 1 second, but it looks like right now, so Drew's up here. Tom is a very strong SOS, being top 10-2. No one's really close to him. Chris Kelly's down here at 9-2 with a strong SOS, so he has a chance to pass Tom, but that doesn't seem likely. That's a lot of SOS to make up. Sperling's down here at 7-1. He could conceivably go 11-1 and grab the second spot for the month. And then Eric Speaksma from the Netherlands and Paul Myers each have 1 loss. Matt Wadden 6-0. So there's a bunch of competitors still. Brad Kipple down here at 5-0. He's qualified for the last 2 OCS. So a lot of players they need to get 5, 6, 7 games in, or more like 7, 6, 5, I should say, I guess. But we'll see how. It should be an exciting final couple days to see who grabs the 2 spots for the month of May and who gets the season 1 at-large bid. Last year there was 2 per season and 0 overall scheduled, but then there was a couple that were forced by a couple people grabbing, a couple of the same people got the same spot, so to speak. So that's the OCS. Ryan, who I mentioned has a vested interest in this month, has been doing a lot of different scenarios here. Scoreboard updates, him or Joe have usually been doing the updates. Looks like right now Stubbley's in the driver's seat. Looks like Kessling's in striking distance, as is Serson, Matthew Harrison trainer. Yes, it looks like this is a little more clear. I like what he did here. So 28-8, Connor's there. So 28 looks like if we assume Drew qualifies, which he probably will. Looks like Stubbley's in the driver's seat, but Kessling can tie him, possibly send his SOS. Ryan can definitely pass him with 2 games back, 5 games to play. And MHT doesn't need to do too well to pass Connor as well. And Joe as well, still in the hunt, I think. Yeah, 6 games back, 8 to play. So still a lot to unfold. So hopefully there's an exciting final few days in the month for that. So that's OCS Update, our online championship series, and it's 5th year. Yeah, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. I'm just going to do a quick shout out for, you might have seen it in that Jump League screen. We have Event 3 of the 2022 Retro League. It's premiered at Death Star 2. We have at least 55 people signed up for this online Swiss event on Jump, which is a ton, which is awesome. A lot of old schoolers and players who play in all formats alike in here. Some pretty strong names and some new players, some experienced players. It's a good mix. So I'm playing in it, and we got some pretty big names here. Andy Talaga's had a couple of really strong performances. Obviously, there's a cumulative standings thing for that Steve Sanders, who's been the primary tournament director, I would say, for this league. He's been posting that in this forum. I think Andy's doing really well. Dr. Torch, Paul Todd Feldman's doing really well. We got Brad Kipple signed up, who's a very strong player, past, present, and in open and as well as retro formats or sealed formats. Same thing with Dylan here. Dark Deal 44. This is like his specialty format. He said Dr. Torch. We got some, let's see here. It's some really good names here. Fatty, he does the YouTube channel. Craig Atkins, GGDOA, and Flake are 2 pretty prominent gaming streaming personalities. So they're both playing, which is neat to see. Mantron is Matt Manning, who also has a great YouTube channel. Check out Board Matt. Mr. Yellow is playing, Johnny Chu. Zach, or Ryan Jellison, our Java Cup champion. Sebastian was in second place. I think second place? Yeah, he went 6-0 in event 2. And yeah, so a good mix. And a lot of these players play this format a lot, so they're going to be very strong. I don't. I haven't played a lot of Premier Destiny 2. I like the format, but I'm probably gonna be a little rusty. So one more shout out. There's a couple more days to sign up for that. You have to just see this Google Forms. If you just go to the forums page, search for retro, go to the league. Everything's in that forum that you need to sign up. But yeah, just 2 more days, and then matchups will be distributed. And I think it's going really well. I think it's a neat league in that we're doing Swiss instead of the typical jump league, which is just like blind tables. Kind of leads to a more fair or true outcome where you're not, just randomly paired up. Instead, you're playing the 4-0s by the 4-0s. It works out, that type of thing. And we'll try to stream some of the later high profile, high stakes, we'll say. Even though this is a free league, it does have some pretty cool prizes on the line. And I haven't announced this formally, but I think with this many people, I'm definitely going to need to do some extra prizes for my role as marketing advocate. So I will try to come up with some creative stuff for this event to, throw a bone people's way for participating and playing Star Wars CCG and having fun doing so. Okay. Next up, the fundraiser, the Father's Day fundraiser event. This is going really, really well. We had a special stream on this to announce it. It's been plugged in a few places on social media. Long story short, it's a fundraiser event. You play a bunch of games and you get some cool prizes. You can register by donating an amount. It can be as low as $1 or it can be whatever you want. The suggested number is 10. Doing that will get you signed up for the league, which starts June 1 to June 30th. It operates like a typical jump league. It's open format. I think it's going to be, and I hope it's going to be a little more laid back than your typical, competitive cutthroat league. Hopefully it's people having fun just playing Star Wars CCG and raising money for a good cause, which is the University of California, or Los Angeles, aka UCLA, Institute of Urologic Oncology, and we are going to make a donation to the prostate cancer program area. So all donations are going to be 100% passed on. The PC is doing a $500 match, which has already been hit, which I'll get to in just a second. If your employer does match programs, as a few folks in the community have reached out and mentioned that they do, feel free to go through that and any help you might need in getting that logistically executed. Talk to me. I know a few players have already done that. But that is the plan. You get these really sweet Fathers-themed AI cards. You can get them either as digital AIs on Gemp for your decks on Gemp, or if you play a certain number, I think it's 12, we decided, you will get mailed the foil full AI slips with your other prizes, and if this is the only thing you do, you'll get your prizes. It might just be a little later. We try to bundle as much as possible. But and if you do 8 games, 4 games get you the Gemp AI, 8 games get you a Gemp booster pack, and obviously the AIs as well, and also get you a chance to randomly win a Japanese light side Mara Jade card, which will go to 4 random full participants. And by full, in this case, we're defining it as you play 8 games. You can play as much as 20. This spans again June 1 to June 30. We'll say registration cuts off on May 30th. Then I'll just update everybody, add everybody to the league. You can all start playing on June 1. I guess technically you could play on May 31st at, I think it's 8 p.m. This is when the Gemp clock strikes midnight and turns to the next day. If you want to sign up a little late, a lot of people don't, people always will say, oh, I wish I signed up, I missed it. And once they see stuff in action, they're going to reach out. I'm sure there'll be a few people like that. So we have like a late sign up, which I'm not going to turn people away from donating to a cause and trying to get some cool Players Committee giveaway cards. So if you're missing any of the details, just go to starwarsccg.org. It's on the news on the right side there, and that gives you the full details. And unlike some people, this I don't know what it is sometimes, but you can see that these cards and the format is nice on my screen. I know some people, I think it's usually Google Chrome or sometimes Android phones where the font gets all messed up. But hopefully you can get the main gist and the rules and everything with the event. There's also a forum for this, which I'll jump to right now. It's on upcoming events. It's on the homepage if you have the board index. We're up to 61 players as of this morning. We have raised over $2,500, which is fantastic and really great. And I am really looking forward to passing this on to the Institute of Urologic Oncology at UCLA and putting money towards a good cause of creating awareness and helping healthcare and research to hopefully finding more cures and more ways to treat prostate cancer, which is the biggest or most prevalent form of cancer for men outside of skin cancer. So shout outs to Chris Kelly and Ryan Jellison for helping with the logistics here, and obviously Scott Lingerell as well, who's our lead advocate, always involved in really good things and helping facilitate stuff like this. So shout out to them. Like I said, 61 people. Should be fun. I think it'll be a kind of the hot league in June and some cool prizes. All right. Next up, just announced yesterday, our tournament advocate, Chris Schoenthal, made a post within the Nationals forum. The COVID policy, not a difficult decision for the advocates and tournament committee to arrive at. There's lots of factors going different directions on this, but the TL, too long, didn't read. Full vaccination will be required to attend the event. So that's 2 shots on Moderna and Pfizer, 1 shot with J&J. Also, all participants must wear a mask in the tournament room. If you're going to take a sip of water, I guess that'll be fine. But, the way I like to look at it personally, we're doing an event. We're trying to balance the risks here of having a gaming event where you're interacting with people closely and trying to limit at the same time any potential transmission of this virus that's been around now over 2 years. So that is the COVID policy. And Show, of course, did his research and tried to find some, or didn't try, he did see what other gaming conventions communities were doing, just to try to give us a baseline of what we should consult, but more things to consider in the ultimate decision. So it shows a good post here going into things that were considered. So that is that. Want to do a quick shout out to Sam Tashima, a Minnesota player who has been working on the pin. This will probably be the pin / logo for 2022 Nationals in Minneapolis. It's a pretty sweet Vader pin, orange and black, ready for Halloween and in July. So this is cool. This will be what the pin is going to be. And Sam's doing a great job with the pins with Ronnie and working with Scott for the regional ones, which have been teasing a few places, and those should be moving along as well. So that is Nationals. We did the COVID policy. We did the logo. Here's the hotel. The booking link is on the forum. We have a block, which is discounted rate. It's at the World of Hyatt, Star Wars Gaming Convention. Here you see you can book stuff. You got the group code, et cetera, et cetera. So feel free to sign up. We're going to have a post on all the logistics and schedule coming up soon. I know the prizes in terms of payouts has been aligned on, and I have a post in the forum about tangible prizes, giveaways. There's a couple things TBD, but I have a pretty good idea of what they're going to be. So stay tuned on those getting firmed up for the U.S. Nationals Championship, which will be probably the second biggest event. Hopefully the second biggest event. It's in the middle of summer. People that are teachers, hopefully it's a little easier for them to attend. Generally, people take more vacation in the summer, so hopefully it has a really strong attendance. I know the NPC was pretty wild. We had 30, but Omicron was exploding at that point, and winter in January has some drawback appeal. but hopefully this event has a real strong turnout. A couple more items, and then we'll jump into the interview. Just want to give a shout out to the Regionals and State / European Nationals program, which we've already had one, which Bjorn hosted in Malmo, Sweden, which we'll talk about in the interview. There's several more scheduled. So regionals, we got Kevin Yap, and I think Paul McPherson's helping him organize the July 23rd Naboo Regional. There's like over 20 people registered for this, which is going to be really cool. Tula happened. Bathawui is in less than a month. That's in Hastings, Nebraska. Eric Archow's organizing that. Bestman and Endor on the same day, on August 13th. Coruscant's going to be somewhere around there as well, organizing that one of those first couple weekends in August. If you're interested in holding regionals, there's like this guidelines post. Click on this. It tells you what you got to do it. And what the perks are. The deck lists are required. You get Player of the Year points, 6-game events, Swiss Open constructed, yada yada yada. And they're a lot of fun. They have special prize kits, which are not mandatory, but they're only $25. That includes shipping, and they're exclusive prizes, foils, poker chips, AIs, some really fun stuff. So that's regionals. States is a similar deal. There's actually one upcoming in North Carolina, June 11th, which is only, 2.5 weeks away. It is in Mint Hill, North Carolina. So if you want to attend that, I encourage you to. Scott Ballman is hosting it. So here's some logistics. We'll try to promote these as much on social media as possible, but that one is coming up quickly. Minnesota States, Washington States are the same weekend. Bestman and Minnesota are on the same same timeline, but that's good because they're kind of spaced out, I guess, from nationals, like 3 or 4 weeks apart. So that makes sense. And they also have their own, there's some special exclusive prizes for the states events. Quick update on the 2021 donations. Those folks that donated in the second half of the year, thank you for being very patient. Literally tomorrow morning, I am picking up the last items I need from Scott and going to start packaging and shipping them out. Really looking forward to that and getting those incentives into the hands of the people that have been very patient. To the extent that the 2021 donors are also 2022 donors, I'll include everything in there that those folks have earned and also elements of the 2022 donations that I have on me, which is pretty much everything except for like paper and foils. So, because we had an issue with the PC printer, it broke. We got to fix it. So we're trying in the middle of Plan B. So there's a little bit delay, but 2022 is not behind. We had announced, hey, we're going to be doing all this printing, acquiring stuff in May and shipping in June. So I think we're still on pace for that. But I'll just, if I have the stuff, I'll send out to people. I'll mark it down. So I'm tracking who gets what, who has received what, who still owed what items, and the like. So that's a quick donations update. Next, I want to give a shout out to Edward Sheehan, who has developed some tutorials. This is the YouTube page for the PC, youtube.com/c/Star Wars CCG. We got a bunch of playlists for stuff. We have featured videos, we have Holotheatre episodes, which is where this will go. This episode will go after PC20, all this fun stuff. But then also at the bottom, this is where the DCO retro event streams are going to be in this Decipher era. Competitive game streams, that's where Retro League streams are going to go and have been going. But down here, tutorials. So, he put these up on his YouTube channel. I added them to the playlist. These are really good. I watched them. So obviously I think a lot of the folks that watch Holotheatre regularly know how to play Star Wars CCG. But I urge you and ask you, if you see newer returning players, if you're looking to get a friend involved and have them learn, point them to this playlist, number one. Number two, Edward does a really good job of going. He's very concise, but at the same time he's very thorough and encompasses all the things that you need to know. And he's building up. He's doing these modules, and he's got a very very nice, comprehensive, and organized plan for rolling these out. So I'm looking forward to them, and I'll just keep adding these. But I recommend this tutorials playlist. He's got 4 out already about overall concepts, flow of the Force, locations, characters. Also in this playlist, I did a couple how to play using all the Jedi. I think I'm going to do another stream soon, just all the Jedi deck building and maybe playing. How to play on Jemp is in here. Some things about episode that Timo Dussel did, which are really good about the different sealed formats. And there was a recent deck building session, and that might be more of like a gameplay training than a tutorial. But yeah, this exists. It's cool. Point any new returning players here. A lot of times you'll see stuff on Discord or Twitter or Facebook group. Hey, how do I learn how to play this game? I collected for a long time. I want to learn how to play. Can you point me in any direction? Sometimes it's even in the Jemp lobby chat. Hey, I just joined Jemp. How do I play this game? I think I like it based off what I've heard about it. Yeah, that type of stuff. So urge you to point them in that direction. All right, so we're just about ready for the interview. I do want to say I do the sticker book token in the interview, and it actually is a really cool kind of organic way that which is usually how it goes, but this one's, I think, extra special in how it emerged. So that's where the token is. I have 357 of these packs. I've allocated them out. For the most part, I put a floor of 2 packs for everybody who submitted at least one thing. And then I just did everything else proportional. So some folks who got close to 30, some around 15. And I marked all that. So some people, you guys are going to be getting 12, 15, 18, some of you, packs of these. So you guys are going to be well on your way to completing your sticker book. Just a reminder, the actual book is here. If you want to print this out on nice paper, take it to Staples, do whatever, populate it. If you have any questions about this, holotheatre at starwarsccg.org. That's where you're going to be emailing the token in. Then this is pretty easy to find. You just go board index, general discussion, and it's the first thing there. So if you want more details on the sticker book program, which is a neat prize incentive that gives away foils, playable foils on a special paper, that's exclusive to the program, and then some little mini sticker cards that are miniature card size, and they are stickers, so you put them in the book. Here we go. All right, so that is that. So let me close this. Oh no, we lost our logo. There we go. There we Star Wars CCG Holotheatre. All right, so yeah, as mentioned before, this interview with Bjorn and Magnus, we covered a couple different topics. I'm gonna stick around in the chat, make sure that people can hear okay, that it looks like it's starting at the right point, which it really should be. But if there's any issues, I'll make sure everything's okay, and I'll probably just be listening the whole time as well, or watching. So yeah, thanks for joining this week. Next week, not positive what the plan's going to be. I know Dan's still going to be in transit. I don't know if we're going to do another episode similar to this. I am pretty confident that I fixed some of the troubleshooting issues, so maybe we'll try to get a co-host on. We'll be a little more interactive. Or, worst case scenario, maybe we take a week off. Not the end of the world. But we'll try to do something, because I think there's going to be a fourth week. I know that Dan mentioned that he's still going to be in transit. All right, so thanks again for watching, whether you're doing it live or on replay. Here is the interview with Bjorn and Magnus.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right, hello everyone. This is Jared Napolitano, JNAP. I am here with two special guests this week. We have from Sweden, Bjorn Palmquist, and from Norway, Magnus Christensen. How are you guys doing?
Great, thank you.
Yeah, pleasure having you guys on. I thought it would be a good idea to feature you guys, since I've been hearing about the Norwegian Nationals last couple of months, and that Magnus has been organizing, and then of course the Tula Regionals just happened about 10 days ago. So definitely want to hear about how those went. And I'm always fascinated by the European community. You guys are very close knit, and I know that the in-person events are amazing from everything I've heard. So definitely want to get into kind of your stories with Star Wars CCG specifically, and then how it is going, nowadays. So I think the audience will be very excited to hear about Star Wars CCG in Norway and Sweden. So thanks again for joining.
Great, thanks for having us.
Yep. Pleasure to be here.
All right, so Bjorn, let's start with you. Let's talk about the Tula Regionals. They happened on May 14th, I believe. They were in Malmo. So I know that a few guys from Denmark came, and I believe Jonas won. How'd you feel it went? It was kind of neat seeing Emil and some other names that I haven't seen in-person events in a while, just going through, the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, indeed. So we decided last time there was a Tula regional, we were in Oslo, and this time around we decided to be in the south of Sweden, hoping to get some of the Danes over and some Swedes and whatnot. And we ended up having people from Denmark, Holland, Hungary with Tamas and Patrick, and some Swedes, and we were 8 players all told. Yeah. And it was really good to see people in 3D and actually play with real cards for a change. A bit of a strange feeling. It's say what you want, but it's a bit of a different game than on GEMP.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely some differences, and get used to shuffling and everything again. Can take a little bit to get used to it.
I think the coolest thing of the whole tourney was that everybody actually won a couple of games. Normally you have somebody, Emil, who walks around with 12 points at the end of the game, and the rest of us on 0. But this is not what happened, and Jonas went away with a win of 10 points, so 5-1 matches, and the bottom 4 shared 5th place with 4 points each.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. Everybody got a few wins in, and that's how it should be.
Yep. Yeah, and you guys were the very first regionals for the 2022 season, so that was pretty cool to see. Do you guys like the prize support?
Oh yeah. The boxes are awesome and went very, very quickly. In the order of pickings, as it were, I think it was the boxes, then the beanies, then everything else.
Yeah. And for the audience, I had about 30 of those Blizzard 8. I call them the beta boxes, because they're a little bit different than the the other boxes that we're using for like majors and OCS and donations and some other special events. So I have several of them, and they're very good, and they have the Blizzard 8 image, which looks great. But yeah, I definitely wanted to send you guys a couple to use as prize support there. So glad that you enjoy them. But yeah, that's great.
Absolutely. They went like, went really quickly. So yeah, there's a market for those.
Yeah.
Collector's items, perhaps.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, so maybe we'll circle back with that a little bit, but I definitely wanted to ask Magnus about the Norwegian Nationals. I know you had reached out. You've been organizing this like annually, and last couple of years, I think it's been on Jemp, and I know it's you and Ricard, and I think Bjorn, you've participated in them as well.
Of course.
Yeah. So how have those gone, Magnus?
Yeah, we had to get our stuff started again. I think Julian Chocard started up in 2017. I think he took the initiative, and then we haven't had a tournament in Norway for like 10 years.
Wow.
So it was great that he took the initiative and started the Norwegian Nationals again. So I think he arranged in 2017, 18, and 19. I think they were all in-person games. Isn't that right, Bjorn?
Yeah, I actually picked up the game again because of Julian in 2018. So I don't know, you'd already had a couple of, or at least a tournament before then. But yes.
Yeah, that's right. So it was in-person tournaments, and we were like 8 players, I think, in 2019. But we have struggled to getting players to play again. So I think the first nationals we only were 4 people, I think. So just the limit.
Yeah, no.
We're also running the problem. It's a bit of a generational thing, isn't it? But you actually have some young-ish players in Norway, and they're all having kids, the bastards.
Yes.
Which means that they can't actually turn up to the tournaments. Some priorities, people. But, for the rest of us with teenagers or thereabouts, it's a bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. So some of them have started over, as you say, Björn. So it's not so easy to play in-person game when you have 1 or 2 or 3 younglings running around. So
know that feeling.
yeah. So, but I think I got back in the game, and perhaps not like being able to challenge the other players before like 2018. So I started watching you guys on YouTube and got some good tips from the Americans, and tried to just learn a lot about the game. So I'm gotten more and more into the game now, and of course, Gemp is the real reason for getting better, I think. It's nothing like having all the cards out on the table and clipping the slips and so on, but it takes a lot of time. And when you have Gemp on your computer in your lap, it's much easier. And I think during the pandemic, some Norwegian Vikings were able to get themselves on Gemp and enjoyed it, so we could have a couple of tournaments on Gemp, and you get the helpers, the flash up here and there, and you remember a lot more than you do when you play in person. So
I think my favorite part about it is that it enables people to be kind of like passive players, and that like some people might go through stretches 3, 6, 12 months where they're unable to get to events. And if that happened, 6, 7, 8 years ago, it's kind of harder than to get back up to speed and know what all the new cards are, what they do. But on Jump, you can sign on, you can watch some games here and there, you can play some games here and there, you can play casual, you can play competitive. So I think it's really good that it just keeps everyone, if they want, relatively in the know of what's going on so that they don't drift away. So, but yeah, the pandemic's obviously a once in 100-year type thing. So hopefully, things start changing a little bit and people are able to get together more frequently with bigger numbers. But it's always good to see younger players get involved too, because like you guys say, like our generation, the game skews towards people in 30s, 40s, and then but I know Mark Walseth has his community that he's training on how to play the game. But if you're 15 years old now, there's so much more competition, there's so many more video games, and so many more things that were around versus 25 years ago when Cypher first started.
And just a tiny learning curve in
Yeah.
our game, right?
Just
Yeah,
tiny.
but that has been great with the game. You could it was not a digital game for so long. You could pull out your cards, look at your binders, and study the cards and enjoy the cards. I'm also a graphic designer from bottom, so
Oh, wow.
I love the design of the cards and what Decipher also did with the colors and pictures, and definitely what you guys on the players committee have done the last couple of years with the imaging and the feel of the game. It's just beautiful. It's so a great shout out to you guys for doing that, keeping the game alive. It's very, very good.
Yeah, thank you. So let's actually, this kind of segues into it. So let's start with Bjorn. Tell me about how you first got involved in the game. I know you mentioned that you played in Australia for a little bit. That sounds really interesting. Tell us about your story.
I actually picked up my first packs in Sweden. I grew up in Australia, but came back to Sweden to do my national service in 1995, 96, and found my first packs premiere, and then went back to Australia in 96 and started playing in a group in about 1997 or thereabouts, and kept going till 2003. Playing continuously throughout all of the expansions and the first bunch of legacy cards. And then I moved back to Stockholm and bought quite a bit of sealed for next to nothing back then in about 2004, 5, and ran a few tournaments on the side in Stockholm, but it was hard to get people together. And then the rest of the sealed stuff just lay there until Julian turned up in 2018 in my life and got me going again.
Yeah, Julian's great. I made a trade with him. He is the reason why I have a Japanese C3PO. And it's really funny because I transacted on it, and then I got this. I guess I had this leftover couple Norwegian kroner. Is that the currency?
Yeah.
So I always have two of those left over in my translation, and I always think of him every time I see that. But yeah, it was C3PO, Japanese, and a couple other Japanese cards I needed to piece together that. So yeah, really good guy working with him, and glad to hear he was building.
And Julian is so to the point on his cards that I bought a couple of cards from him, and he said it's only near mint. He said it's only near mint. But when I got it in the post, I couldn't see one little scratch on the card, so I was really happy. So,
and Julian is
picky about his cards. You can you're getting value when you're buying off him.
Yeah, definitely.
I was very happy with the trade. Yep, the sale. All right, cool. So you've been active then for the last 4 years or so. Again, I think a lot of people, myself included, like that 2017, 2018 range, and then I think another huge bump in 2020, 2021 when people were more housebound and digging out their cards from the attic or basement and exploring, organizing. Cool. All right, so Magnus, let's hear about your story.
My God, it's a long time ago. The first time you could go to the store and buy your first booster pack. I remember it quite well. It was an old comic book store actually in my hometown. And it was my younger brother who has bought a couple of booster packs, and we were huge fans of the first movies, of course, and then we could see the pictures on the cards, and I think for many people it started there. Just enjoying the cards because we didn't know how to play, so there were starfish on the ground and characters in the sky. So, but I remember going down to the old comic book store, and the guy who had the store had this counter, I think it's called, with glass on top, and there he had displayed some really unique cards in his belief. So it was the magnetic suction tube from New Hope in the light side version for about $5. So it was great. I had to have it, and then I bought some. I think it was some some unlimited Premier boosters, I think. So I remember I put them in my bag. I was going to school, and I had to open them in one of my breaks, and in the second pack I actually got a white border Darth Vader, and I remember that feeling. It was so great, and I was
Wow.
I was done for.
Yeah. So that card's actually gone up in value, unlike Magnetic Suction Tube, which might
Yeah.
that's gone down in value.
I still remember my first two rares from the starter. Vader's Eye, almost a Vader.
Yeah.
And a light side Cantina.
Nice.
Ah, great.
I don't think I've actually ever pulled a Vader. And how many boxes have I opened throughout the years?
You know, I got a starter box of Japanese, and it was the first of what I think 12 starter boxes. It was the very first one I opened, and it was the Vader. This is when I was trying to complete my collection a couple years ago. I should have just stopped opening all the others and just sold the rest, because that was the one I was really trying to find, and there was no easy place to find it except cracking packs at that point. But yeah, that's the best feeling when you open up a card, open up a pack, and get a card that you need.
Yeah. I also remember buying Death Star 2. I can't even talk about it. Death Star 2 displays, and using all my student loan on cards, and and I remember buying 4 of those displays. It was a fortune in Norway at that time.
Gosh, yeah.
And I got one Lord Vader of those 4 displays, and that was critical. until eBay, then it all got better.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing a lot of folks talk about, I wish I didn't sell my cards 10 years ago or 7 years ago, or yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I sold like my whole collection back in like 2009 or something. And yeah, getting back, I'm glad I got back in 5 years ago, and now it's very
not now.
Yeah, now it's tough. But yeah, so all right, so yeah, good stories. Hopefully, and we'll talk about a couple others too. If you guys have any other really interesting stories, which I think you do. But yeah, let's touch on a couple other subjects first. So actually, we did touch upon this a little bit so far, but are you guys really excited for in person again? And obviously, with Euros coming up in what, about 4 months, that looks like it's going to be a really good time for everyone going, right?
Magnus gets to start, and then I'll just put a wet towel over all of it.
Yeah, we are living up in the mountains, Jared, here in Norway. So I have actually never participated in a Euro competition. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go this year, but I hope so. My children are getting older, as we spoke about earlier on here.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So, but I think it would be great now to play some in-person games again, like Bjorn said. Get to shuffle your cards, get the pressure when you are playing. No helpers. Looking forward to it. So I hope that when we are going to arrange the Norwegian Nationals now in August, September, we get to do it in person. But we got some distant Vikings in Norway who prefer Gemp now that we have the pandemic. But I hope we can meet up.
Okay.
And I was looking forward to meeting up with Quirin, who also was at the Tula Regional. So we also had a German guy. Alas, the Swedish general election is on September the 11th, which is
same day,
when the European Championships is on. But next year, I hear that we're going to have both the European Championships and Worlds. Yeah. So I will be going to Germany next year.
Wow. I'll join you, Björn. I'll join you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Emil is driving, so we'll jump in the car with him.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I didn't realize that when I was looking at the map. So like Malmo to like Denmark, that's just a bridge. That's you can just drive. You don't need to get on a boat or plane to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem. You can drive from Norway and down to Germany over some bridges, and you will be there. So
yeah, I was seeing how close Copenhagen to Malmo. I'm not saying those right, hopefully. Yeah, really close. Okay. All right. Yeah. So good stuff there. And then yeah, and actually we were talking a little about Julian, but I think I feel like he's on like the short list of like the 3 people who have like the most impressive collections, like him and Andy Talaga and probably Jim Colson, right? So that's interesting.
I think Jim doesn't share pictures of his whole collection, but if he did, I think we'd yeah, I imagine it's hard to beat Jim's. That's what I imagine, because we've never seen pictures, or I haven't.
Yeah, I know he was one of the original advocates, or not the original advocates, but he was, in the early days of the PC. But yeah, he did a podcast recently, or not a podcast, a video on YouTube with Matt Manning's channel. So that was really neat. If anyone's interested in checking that out, you can check out Board Matt.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, Board Matt is the YouTube channel. So Matt's been doing like one video a week. They're all really good. I just listening to one he was talking about top 10 hardest to find cards, and actually one of them was like a mint Darth Vader from Premiere. Like Magnus was mentioning, even the white border or the black border, like that it's such a highly played card. So and obviously everyone wants it, so it's one that's probably very hard to keep in really good condition.
Yeah, it's hard to keep them in good condition, even though they just stay in the binders, because it's got 20-25 years. So and
yeah, it's always like interesting stuff. Like you want to make sure it's not too humid, not too dried, not too warm, not too cold, all that stuff for when you're talking 20-25 years of storage.
Somebody's going to know a lot more about this than me, but I find that Premiere scratches a lot more easy than some of the later cards, right?
That sounds right, because they changed like the material. It became a lot more glossy in Dagobah. And that was the other thing that I was shocked about. Matt was saying that white border Dagobah is apparently like the hot thing right now. I think I heard something about there was a full set that went for like 900 on eBay or something like that. And I was like, whoa, this is wild.
White border Hoth has got to be the best looking one, right?
I like white
That's
border.
That's what I think personally, anyway.
Yeah, just goes to the snow, kind of blends together with the border. But yeah, so we have some more time here. I want to hear about this. Was it the Whiffid and the Sunsdown story that I think was talking about?
Yeah,
good stories about your guys' early days, or even more recent days of Star Wars CCG.
Yeah, I had to dig some to get the story ahead here, because I remember playing. As I said, the first period you didn't actually know what you did, but in 97, 98, I think we got the hold of it, and we got the rules together, and there were more local tournaments in our hometown. So I put together a kind of a strange Hoth deck back then, and I used Suns Down to get nighttime condition, and add actually both players could add a destiny, as to power when Sundown is nighttime condition is in on the sites. So I used Sundown, and I picked up some aliens. I got this, I don't know if you can see it, but it's the Whippet.
Yeah, the Whippet
from Jabba's Palace. So he's power 3 and gets power plus 2 on Hoth. So he's 5, in bottom. And I can't even pronounce the name of this guy, but it's McCurt, I think, from Special Edition.
Yeah, they have nighttime conditions text. Yeah,
he also got the nighttime condition text, and he can scream for 1 force if you attack. And add the destiny to power, and he has power 2, so he also gets a lot of power. And then I found this droid, 2X from Special Edition. So he actually adds 2 to power to Imperials and aliens under nighttime condition.
Okay.
So
power 5,000.
So I'm counting power 7. And a couple of destiny to power.
Yeah, so I remember playing the final in one of these tournaments, and I actually got, I think it was 3 Whippets. So that's 21 power only there.
Nice.
and you know, I was counting. I think it was, if I remember the number correct, it was 56 in power. And I think he was stuck there with a young Luke or something, trying to whip me over. So that was a great experience, and get so much power so early on with no mains.
So two things right there. So one, let's if you guys are familiar with the sticker book program, but we'll make the token this week. The Whiffid will be the key card. So anyone watching, I'll put details in the chat and everything about this. And you guys probably know this. Do you know the homeworld of the Whiffid?
I have to look at my card.
Yeah, read the lore of the card. Very interesting.
Where are they from?
I'm getting old. I have to get some light. I can't read it. It's Tula. Yeah. I didn't know that.
What a coincidence. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, and that's a good way to plug. We were working on these pins for each region. Of course, you guys had your regional pretty early, but we're going to be sending them to you at some point once they're all done. But every region's getting these like customized pins that are really neat design. I think we've teased a couple of them, like Tatooine, Coruscant. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the design is yet for the Tula, but I think it's going to be like maybe a silhouette of the Whiffid or maybe the teeth. And yeah, so that's very funny how things come together.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we can cut this part out, and we can just pretend that I am Björn was preparing this.
No, we absolutely knew that the Whiffids came from Tula. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what is Tula? Whose homeworld is that? I remember asking myself this a couple months ago. And,
very nice.
Good stuff.
I have to say that I thought I was a Star Wars geek, and I've read an awful lot of novels, but Tula has completely escaped me.
Yeah, I really like what Decipher did there with making the regions after different places, and a lot of them are kind of like thematic. Obviously, like Coruscant, like it's kind of the capital, or at least in the PC era, it's kind of the capital because that's where Scott lives. So, and then and yeah, stuff like Hoth Northridge, Hoth Ice Plains. I was listening to some of those old Radio Free Decipher episodes, and that was like a big deal, apparently splitting up Ontario, and one was the Ice Plains and one was the Northridge. So. But yeah, it's really interesting stuff. But so we have a little time left. I guess, Bjorn, do you have any interesting stories or anything else to share?
Well, like Magnus, I love my scrubs. You know, the Power 0 Ability 1 characters, they get way too little love. And I think when I actually started getting some cash to buy more than a booster, Endor was out. And I bought pretty much an entire box, and every second card you pulled was a unique Ewok or a unique scout. And I've loved Ewoks ever since, and always tried to make them work. And I still reckon that Crix Maydeen and or Strike Planning is the best card in the game. It's in pretty much every single light side deck I build, because he allows me to pull my Ewoks or other scouts on occasion. But definitely go the Ewoks and Ewok Celebration and stack those destinies on top of each other.
Do you usually do Rebel Strike Team, or There's Good in Him, or something else?
I try, but now at the Tula Regional, I actually went without an objective.
Oh, nice.
Started just Endor and the Rebel landing site, and came down with my Ewoks, and it won me 2 games. So obviously not unbeatable, but it's fun when you rock up with, you know, what turns out to be 34 power or something like that from a few Power 0 Ewoks.
Yeah,
you really tricked me in the Norwegian series last fall, Bjorn.
That's what it's all about.
Oh my God. I was deploying my aliens and Boba Fett and so on, and he just ran away with all my bounty hunters. They flew through the forest, and I was just standing.
Half-Blue runs away with somebody, Wicket gets rid of another one, and you react with all of your Ewoks turning up there. It's a great feeling, but nobody ever walks into that trap twice.
No, not twice, Björn.
Not twice.
Oh, that's good. And
But
that explains your handle, right?
I think the little guys are always the ones that get my love in this game. There are plenty of Jedi walking around at the moment doing all of their shenanigans, but yeah, scrubs all the way.
Yeah. Maybe there might be something on tap with the Wookiees. They've gotten a few helpers the last couple sets, so maybe there's something there. But unfortunately, in Jawa, that let the Wookiee win V is a banned card. But yeah, they're furry like Ewoks, right?
But they were always slightly more powerful.
Yeah.
You think?
Lot more. Well, all right, guys. So we're just about at our time, but yeah, this was great. Thank you for sharing these stories. And I'm sure the audience for Holotheatre, for both live and on replay, will really enjoy hearing about Star Wars CCG and in Norway and Sweden. And I wish you guys best of luck with growing your communities. And anything I could do as a marketing advocate, please don't hesitate. And that's one of the biggest areas of concentration, I think, for us, is just growing the game, teaching to people, and whatever resources or prizes we can do, we're happy to help.
It's worth noting that we're only a couple of hours away, each of us, from Finse, which is where they filmed Hoth.
Yeah.
We've been up there and had a tournament even. And we're going to have more tournaments up in Finse, definitely, except the pandemic came in the way. But it would be great to see some people from across the ocean come up to Hoth and actually play at the North Ridge proper.
That'd be awesome. All bundled up. People can wear their PC hoodies, or not the hoodies, the hats, winter hats, and a lot more. All right, guys, you take care. Thank you again, and everyone, we'll see you next week on Star Wars CCG Holotheatre. Take care.